Good afternoon again. So the panel was very exciting to me. It was awesome. And a lot of the concepts that they discuss, commitment, perseverance, positivity, persistence, they all impact really all the success in very many different careers. So I'm always happy to hear those messages. So what we're going to do now, as Liesl said, a little bit different from what I do most of the time, but since NeoLife turned 60 last year, I would like to give a brief outline, a brief summary of the scientific achievements that NeoLife has made during these decades. Really, it's something that we all have to be proud of. 60 years of dedicating to research and innovation. 60 years offering products that work, that are effective, that represent the latest latest knowledge in the area of health and nutrition. 60 years of really harnessing the nutrients from whole foods to support cellular energy for a lifetimes of health and vitality. So that is something that we have to be always proud of, being part of NeoLife. So very quickly, ever since its inception, NeoLife has been a leader in innovation and have always kept at the forefront of science and technology. And this has allowed us to formulate and offer products that are responsible, that are effective, as I said, and that really provide, that are responsible and safe, and that provide only benefits. Because of this, from very early on, it has gained us a reputation of scientific excellence as we have conducted innovating and really world-class research. I'll talk a little bit about them as we move through the decade. We have published in peer-reviewed scientific journals, presented in elite scientific conferences, and partnered with really scientists around the world and research academic institutions. So this, I will go throughout really talking more like a story of the evolution of science in NeoLife, and really how the science through the decades translates into products that work, and I think products that we all have to be proud of. So from the very beginning, when NeoLife opened its doors, it did so with a very special product, a product that was completely innovative in the market at that time, and that was Formula 4. It provided whole food nutrients, it provided whole food train grain concentrates, and that was something that had never been seen before. And it also introduced at that time the concept of cellular nutrition. We talk about cellular nutrition now, and everybody understands cellular nutrition, but you have to think that at that time in 1958, and I remember my lectures when I went to college, the university, not even in high school, when we did not even know the structure of the cell and the cell membrane. They gave you three possibilities that how this could be. And yet, at this time, NeoLife offered train and grain concepts to optimize the efficacy of the cell membrane. So it was very innovative. And everything about the product was new. It's a gelatin capsule, and it's a whole food core. And this, if you think about it, it was at the time that practically all the nutrition supplement companies were producing hard tablets that had a smattering of some minerals and some vitamins. So and this is 1958, so more than 60 years ago, so it's a very innovative. And another thing that it also pioneered is in our protein shakes. At that time, that decade of the late 50s, early 60s, it was the scientists were focusing on the health benefits of protein. It was really the decade of protein. Even my advisor in college too, in my PhD program at Berkeley, had gained his reputation. He was a world-renowned scientist already in his late 70s, and he gained all his reputation assessing the quality of proteins and also the protein requirements. But at this early time, NeoLife realized that yes, we need protein, but the sources of protein that people are consuming are mostly from pig and pork sources and beef. And those come with, as you know, high levels of saturated fats and high levels of cholesterol. So that is a damaging compounds in food and contribute to disease later on in life. And so NeoLife seeks to introduce a new high-quality source of protein. So it developed two processes, the instant protein technology, so we could develop proteins that could mix very easily in liquids, and develop this ProtoGuard process, a way of controlling the mixing and blending parameters of different powdered sources of protein, so that the quality of protein was maintained, and it was able to be the first company to introduce a product that provided high-quality protein, that provided the 22 amino acids in human nutrition. So that was a NeoLife first, and it goes all the way back to the early 60s, late 50s. At the same time, which is, I am pretty amazed because I was not there at that time, but I'm pretty amazed too that they extended the concept of health, personal health, to health of the environment, of the planet. And they, as Carla was saying, so early on, they introduced a line of personal care and home care products that were biodegradable and eco-friendly, all the way, back in the 60s. It's now every company is trying to do it, but this goes way back. So we entered to the second decade, and already at that time, NeoLife was quite recognized as a company to watch, as a leading company in nutrition. But I think of all the achievements that NeoLife had, I think the most important was to invite Dr. Arthur First to be part or to join the NeoLife company. How many of you have heard of Dr. Arthur First? Yes, he really was. I mean, I had one of my greatest pleasures of working on NeoLife has been working so close together with Dr. Arthur First. Well, he was a world-renowned toxicologist, a cancer specialist that spent most of his life trying to find the causes and a cure for cancer. But midway in his career, he said, also focusing on the cure, maybe it's more important also to focus on the prevention of disease, on keeping and maintaining the health of the individual. So it was a really close match to the aims of the NeoLife company. And so doing this, NeoLife kind of gave the reins of product development to science, because he gave them to Dr. Arthur First. And one of the very first things that Dr. First did was to establish the Scientific Advisory Board. Today, we are 8 members of the Scientific Advisory Board. We are all scientists dedicated with different specialties, either food technology, nutrition, sports nutrition, biochemistry, microbiology. So the among the whole group, we gather practically all the areas of nutrition as it pertains to health. And I'm going to have a little bit of water now. And one thing that we are very dedicated is keeping up with the philosophy established by Dr. Arthur First on product development, and that is the philosophy of based in nature and backed by science. Based in nature is that we look at nature, we look at optimal diets as a guide in product formulation. What should we include in your products? And it also means that whenever possible, we look at the finest whole food ingredients from where we can derive the nutrients that we incorporate in our supplements. And then based in science, and that means that we not only look at how bioavailable the product is, how easily it is assimilated in our body, but also testing the raw materials to confirm purity and potency, and testing for the efficacy of the product. And also, nature gives us a guideline of nutrients to include in a product, but the science also tell us how these nutrients would be working at the cellular level, so we can match both of them. Oops. Another thing that happened early in the second decade is that NeoLife established really state-of-the-art manufacturing facility that included really top-notch quality control facility, and together with a fantastic research laboratory, analytical laboratory. And with the quality control and the research analytical laboratory, we were able really to create and develop processes and innovative technologies that have helped us produce really unique products. One of them, again, this for you might not seem that amazing, but this is going all the way 50 years ago. We developed the Neoplex concentrate, or as you call it here, the citrus bioflavonoid complex. And this is a group of flavonoids from citrus fruits that help in the absorption and the assimilation of vitamin C. And you probably have seen citrus bioflavonoid complex all over the place. And flavonoids are really, really important these days. Whenever you open a magazine, there's always an article on the health benefits of flavonoids. Well, this goes back 50 years ago, so you have to be, and I think I am always very impressed. And the other thing that was very impressive too is the development of Beta-GAR or ToxGAR. Then this Dr. Arthur First was a toxicologist, and so he studied all his life how our body can protect itself from toxins or contaminant in the water, in the food, in the air we breathe. And he was convinced that our body has the capacity to defend itself if it has optimal levels of certain nutrients. And so he developed Beta-GAR, which is a blend of antioxidants and detoxifying nutrients that work together to help the body metabolize and excrete and neutralize these toxins. And now I think I want to tell you, going to go off a little bit of screen to tell you an anecdote on how I joined a NeoLife and about Beta-GAR. So I was working at Stanford doing my postdoc, and my principal investigator, or the professor I was working against her, was Dr. Rice. And I was finishing already my postdoc, so I had to find a job. And I see this ad in the paper for a position, R&D, director of R&D in this company, NeoLife. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's a bit too high a level, but I don't know. I'm going to try. So I called. They have a phone number. I called, and John Miller, at that time was the organizer of the Scientific Advisory Board, answers. And then she talks about the company, about the Scientific Advisory Board, and then she says, and then the leader of the Scientific Advisory Board is Dr. Arthur First. And I was a nutritionist, so I didn't know, an early nutritionist, so I didn't know about Dr. Arthur First yet. And so I go back to the lab and I tell my professor, I'm thinking of applying to this company. And there's the leader of the Scientific Advisory Board they have is Dr. Arthur First. And she looks at me and says, Dr. Arthur First? and I said, yes, do you know him? And she was a toxicologist by training. And she says, oh, Dr. Arthur First was my professor. He was the best professor I had in the university. So, and I'm like, okay, then. So I make an appointment for an interview, and then I'm sitting down in the lobby, and then I'm waiting for my interview, and then I see this display of products, and I see the bottle of Betagard. And so I take it, and I read the ingredients, and I read what it is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this company really knows what they're doing. And so that's 25 years ago, and the rest is history. Okay, so I was telling you that we installed a pretty sophisticated analytical lab, research lab, and that allowed us to do some new innovations. And for example, the threshold control technology that was really for the supplement industry. It was the very first one to do so, and this was particularly important for water-soluble nutrients like vitamin C, because this way of delivery, it maintained the vitamins levels in your blood or in your body at a constant rate as the tablet dissolved over a period of 6 hours or more. Another innovation that we have is what we call the artificial stomach. And so what is the artificial stomach? It's a set of very sophisticated equipments together that mimic the environment and the activity of the stomach and the upper digestive tract. And so you can really test the performance of the product in different conditions. And you can see how fast or how slow the product would dissolve given a set of conditions. And this allowed us to formulate products that have this targeted delivery technology. And what does that targeted delivery means is that you deliver the nutrient in the part of the digestive tract where it's going to provide the most benefits. One of the best examples, I think, is acidophilus complex, acidophilus plus, because what you need is to deliver live bacteria, these live beneficial bacteria, to the largest intestine. That is where they perform their function. And this means that you have to protect the live bacteria from the acid in the stomach and protect the bacteria from the very alkaline environment of the very upper digestive tract. And so we can achieve this by these technological advances, coating the tablets in a special way, so they can resist both the acid and the alkaline environment and deliver the live bacteria to the large intestine. Another perfect example also is your garlic complex. What you need there is to provide allicin, is the active component in garlic. And so then again, it's very susceptible to the acid environment in the stomach. So by the targeted delivery, we can protect the allicin so it reaches the upper digestive tract where it is absorbed. Okay, in the third decade, so I'm not covering every advance or every product, otherwise I take until tonight. So, and I'm sure you want to take your dinner. So, the third decade, what we did, and this Dr. Fred Hooper was in charge, is in the Texas A&M University. We wanted to see the effect of threonine grain concentrates on the assimilations of nutrients by the cell. So he conducted a study where had two groups. One group received exactly the same diet, except one group received the threonine grain concentrates, and the other did not. And by the end of the experiment, we could see that there was a greater growth and development among those that have consumed the threonine diet. There was greater cardiovascular development among those that had consumed the diet with threonine. And given that they both were consuming exactly the same diet, the group that received the threonine grain concentrates did have a greater nutrient assimilation from the diet. And that's exactly what we wanted, that we were saying about threonine, that it does increase the utilization of nutrients in your diet, increase the cellular uptake of nutrients from the diet to perform the metabolic functions. So the fourth decade. So now here, the fourth decade, we have been talking on protein and vitamins and minerals. The 4 decades was really the phytonutrient decade. It's the decade of the phytonutrient revolution, as I call it. So what are phytonutrients? Phytonutrients are protective compounds in fruits and vegetables. We don't know at that time. At that time, we didn't know how they work, but what we did know was that they had an effect of reducing, of keeping people healthy and reducing the incidence of disease. What happened with this? How did they find this out? Is they looked at the diet of populations and around the world and measured the incidence of disease on all these populations, and they found that those populations that have a high consumption of fruits and vegetables had a lower incidence of disease. Conversely, those populations that had a lower intake of fruits and vegetables had a much higher incidence of disease. And so John tells me, I was already at NeoLife, and so John tells me, Ariana, I'm reading all these things, yes, and I said, yes, John, it's just like all the conferences are showing this, and what also is very worrisome to me is that we are consuming fewer and fewer fruits and vegetables, and it seems that there must be a tremendous gap in what people recommend about consuming fruits and vegetables. At that time, it was 3 servings of fruit and 2 servings of fruit and 3 servings of vegetables a day. Now the recommendation is consume fruits and vegetables 9 or more. So you can see how things have changed. But at the same time, he says there's an enormous gap on these health protective compounds in the diet of the population, in the diet of our distributors. So we have to develop a product that helps us bridge this gap. And so in the 4th decade, we went full blast into looking at compounds in fruits and vegetables and identifying what was missing in the diet and what was very important for cellular function and for overall health. And so we developed 3 products: carotenoid complex, flavonoid complex, and cruciferous plus. And I can tell you that in those 3 products really, as John says, scooped the market, because it took about 10 years for the rest of the industry to catch up with these products. What is so special about these products is that they provides the family of different phytonutrients. Carotenoid complex provides the carotenoids that you would find in an optimal serving of carotene carotenoid-rich fruits and vegetables. Flavonoid complex provides the full families of flavonoid that you can find in a flavonoid-rich fruits and vegetables, and Cruciferous Plus provides those protective phytonutrients from cruciferous vegetables. What were the other supplement companies doing at the time? Practically nothing in this area, except maybe one or two that were providing synthetic beta-carotene. It's just one carotenoid. Do they happen in plants like that? No. And so this provided the whole family, and they were entirely made from extracts and concentrates from whole foods. Things like carrots and tomatoes and spinach, and so they provided lycopene, alpha-carotene, beta-carotene, lutein, zeaxanthin, the broad range of nutrients that you find in these important vegetables. And in the fourth decade, not only we introduced these products, we carried out a lot of research onto the health effects and the bioavailability of these nutrients. I'm not going to talk all the research that we did, but one thing that was very important for us, because this product was so new, is to see if we absorbed and assimilated these products. And so we conducted this study with Stanford Research Institute and had, similar to the salmon oil study that I mentioned before, we had a group of men and women, healthy men and women, that took the supplement and had blood samples after 4 weeks and after 8 weeks. And sure enough, we found that carotenoid levels, not only of beta-carotene, but beta-carotene, alpha-carotene, and lutein and lycopene, increased significantly in the blood. So this was the first study that showed that you could absorb carotenoids from a supplement made entirely of extracts of fruits and vegetables. And it was published in 1994. Yes, I'm dating myself. No, it was published in 2000. No, so it was published in 1994, and because it was the first one to show the bioavailability of these important carotenoids from fruits and vegetables, it caught the attention of the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture. One of their tasks is to do research on agricultural products. And so they had been wanting to study the effects of these compounds in the individuals, and they asked us to supply our products so that they could carry out their study and to show whether they were absorbed, whether they also reduced measures of oxidative stress, and whether they improve the immune function of individuals, because these were the markers that they were looking at that time. And sure enough, they did reduce markers of oxidation in the blood and oxidation at the cell membrane level. And what was very unexpected to them is that they measured, the study lasted 60 days, but they took samples every 20 days. And as early as 20 days, they saw an increase of 37% in immune capacity, which is, again, pretty amazing because they use labeled doses, and this is just a natural product. But to cause a 37% increase is really very, very dramatic. And that was absolutely not done by us. So then the fifth decade also, as every decade goes, there's a new nutrition hero or a new nutrition villain. The hero in this decade was the omega-3 fatty acids that really, during this decade, the most articles on the health benefits of omega-3 fatty acids appeared in print. And I'm not going to go on this product because we really discuss it completely this morning. Oops. But the fifth decade, there was a new villain in this decade identified, and I'm pretty sure you know. What do you think it was? 1998 to 2007, and it continues being so. What? It's sugar and processed carbohydrates. So during this decade, we had been focusing so much in low-fat diet. We're focusing on the phytonutrients, but we didn't realize that the consumption of processed carbohydrates, very highly processed carbohydrate and sugar, had kind of crept up, and it was creeping up with the increasing obesity rate, and creeping up with the increase on diabetes. And they were looking at what could be the cause of this increase, and they found out, sure enough, these high sugar high food products and high carbohydrate food products cause a rapid rise in blood levels, and that was associated to increased this rapid rise, continual rapid rise in blood sugar as a result of sodas or sugary drinks or high carbohydrate meals, resulted this high rapid rise in blood sugar, and that was associated to increase in obesity, diabetes, and other metabolic disorders. And so NeoLife scientists thought, it is time that we make sure that our products do not cause a rapid rise in blood sugar. So we developed this glycemic response control technology, and to make sure that the blood sugar was kept within normal ranges after the consumption. And sure enough, we tested our products. Again, we tested them at Health Research and Study Center. And sure enough, when you took our products, it maintained blood sugar levels at constant, within an area of control, within an area of normal levels. And it was funny because we compared this to many different drinks, protein drinks that were available in the market, and to a normal breakfast. And the only one that kept the blood sugar levels constant was our NeoLife shakes. And we did it also with every time that we introduced a new shake, we confirmed that. This was published in the Journal of the College of Nutrition, and we presented the results there. The sixth decade, from 2008 to 2017, again, an area we produced a lot of new products, but also we dedicated a lot of time to conducting these clinical studies that I spoke about this morning on our Salmon Oil Plus, to confirm that it is bioavailable, that it provides anti-inflammatory power, and that provides cardiovascular protection. Okay, whoops. So, and the sixth decade again. So we introduced a new NeoLife shake weight loss program with a little higher protein content, very high quality protein, a blend of different proteins that assure us that we were providing the 22 amino acids necessary in human nutrition, updated some of the amino acid benefits, provide a little fiber. And so we also wanted to test, yes, is this product effective? And indeed, we conducted a 3-month study, and it showed that yes, it was very effective. And we surprised ourselves again that not only in being a very effective weight loss program, but it also resulted in an improvement in lipid levels, which was unexpected. It lowered cholesterol and significantly, and lowered LDL cholesterol, which is the bad lipoprotein, that bad form of protein. So again, this was published in the American College of Nutrition Journal and presented at their annual institute. So the sixth decade continued in 2008 to 2007. I think, in my opinion, this represents the culmination of supplementation in the market. We put together our stellar products, Trenen, carotenoid complex, salmon oil plus, and essential vitamin and mineral capsule that delivers the necessary vitamins and minerals, the essential minerals that we need in a very convenient package. And I don't think there is in the market any supplement. And I'm not being here, I'm being a scientist, I'm really not being as Liz was saying, that it seems that I'm marketing. I'm very excited about this product that delivers really so many years of research and proof of efficacy in a little package. So I'm very amazed of this product, and of course I share it with anybody I know. All my kids, my relatives, they're all taking a Pro-Vitality. Okay, so coming to the end. So now it's the seventh decade. The seventh decade. So we're there. So we redesigned our skincare program, and we introduced Nutrients Organic. This project was spearheaded by our Vice President of Science and Technology and the leader of the Scientific Advisory Board, Dr. Diane Clayton, that she got together with marine biologists and research dermatology institutes, and developed this fantastic product based on thalassotherapy, which is based on the goodness of the nutrients from the ocean. And it's really a fabulous product that provides protective nutrients for the skin, nutritive compounds from seaweeds, from botanicals, from essential oils, that it is truly fantastic. And that is all the part of based in nature, and the backed by science is that it really has been certified, EcoCert, by this the certifying company that certifies that products are sustainable and eco-friendly and organic. And it has been proven to hydrate, moisturize, nourish, and really soothe the skin. And all these tests have been done in France under the guidance of a very prestigious French laboratory. But the only thing I have to say that I think is more convincing is that, so I started using the cream, the eye cream, and my husband never even looks at me, I think, in the morning. and then suddenly I was testing the product, and then like the third day that I put all this in my eyes at night, and then I go in the morning, and he's like, "Wow, your eyes look so good." So for me, I don't care what other testing facilities say, but that is very important. So this concludes my talk, and I want to emphasize the fact that we always looked at nature as a guide to our products, not only in raw material selection, but also in formulation. I've talked a lot about the carotenoid complex, salmon oil, all the way back to Tren, and we don't give you just one essential oil. There are so many supplements that just have like linoleic acid or alpha-linolenic acid. No, we provide the family of nutrients that work together: omega-3, omega-6, extracts from grain concentrates, the carotenoid family, the flavonoid family. And this is a constant topic that is very hard to find in other companies. I don't know another company that does that. And then, again, backed by science. We pay so much attention not only in how wonderful it looks in the label, just because it's based in nature, but how all these ingredients work these nutrients work together in our cells and in our body, and always testing for purity, for efficacy, and for bioavailability. And so, one thing, again, I already said that, but one of the things that all the SAB takes a lot of pride is that we're one of the few companies that actually goes through the trouble of testing efficacy and publishing in prestigious journals, so we can disseminate the science and have other people learn a little bit more, and also present the information in scientific journals. And so it concludes my talk. NeoLife always stretching the boundaries of knowledge in cellular nutrition, and really offering the world's best products. And thank you so much.